I told Riley there was a surprise if we got the 2 heaviest, tallest sheets in, and we got them in.
All right, so after yesterday, we feel like we have things a little more figured out with this sheet metal, and we're hoping to get the other 3 walls done today because tonight the scissor lift gets returned.
I'm tired, but this is so exciting. The progress that we're making on this building, I mean, it's transforming before our eyes.
Looks so awesome with the sheet metal on and all the trim around the windows. But on this wall, we have a little bit of a problem. The wall is not perfectly square, so we're gonna need to fix that. As you already saw, we used our laser to get this transition trim perfectly level, but this wall is not plumb, which means our wall is not square. You can see down here, the edge of the rib is right on the edge of the building because the edge of our sheet is on our mark right here. Hard to tell, but up near the top, the edge of the building is closer to the center of the rib. But we know that this sheet is on plumb. We checked it with the laser. You may remember when we installed these windows that we took the bracing out of this wall. I think that we were a little too early on installing our bracing. We need this wall to be able to move to get everything square. Okay, give it a few cranks. It's moving. Oh, let's check that. Now the first sheet is dead on plumb and lined up on the building. So the building is square, and that's gonna help the rest of the sheets go on nice and straight. Before we take that ratchet strap off, we're gonna put our bracing back on.
Go up a little bit. Okay, come down. There we go. It's super important that our sheets go on plumb and square to the building. So we squared up the building, but to make sure that they're going on plumb, we started before we put any sheets up and we marked. These sheets have a 36-inch coverage, edge to edge coverage. So that means that we can put marks at every 36 inches. Here, and we went all the way down the building. That way, when I'm down here lining my sheet up, I line it up on the mark, and then Riley at the top uses the bubble level to make sure that we are plumb, and that's how we know we are square and plumb to the building. The sheets are not perfect and definitely have a little bit of adjustment, so that's how we make sure that they're going on straight. And then there's a little bit of wiggle room for that overlap rib. This wall is going much smoother than the last one.
All of the windows are the same size, and we kind of know what we're doing now, and it's just making things a lot faster.
It's really stressful when you do something for the first time, especially something that you can scratch and then you have to stare at for the rest of your life. But we've got the hang of it now. There's definitely a really good feeling when you get to a sheet you don't have to cut.
We don't have very many of them, but 2 sheets in a row we don't have to cut, and
let's do it. We just wrapped up the second long wall, which means it's time.
That means we're more than halfway done, and it's time to move on to the front wall.
The most important wall, the wall we have to stare at every day. The reason that we're doing this front wall next is that it's our shortest pieces because the back wall doesn't have any wainscoting, and the way that the metal came from the manufacturer, they stacked them shortest to longest. So we're still gonna have to move them around a bunch. I hope we don't scratch them. It's not ideal. It would have been cool if they were stacked in like little bundles when we needed them, I don't even know if maybe that's something we could have even requested. I don't know.
I'm gonna go up. So the sheets come cut to length for the gable end, but they do not come with the 412 roof pitch cut in them. So we're having to cut that pitch onto every single sheet. It is gonna make these walls go a little slower, but luckily these walls are also shorter. Well, there goes all my help.
We got another piece of siding up, our first piece on this front wall. We're exhausted. We thought we were gonna have to be returning the scissor lift tonight because Patrick, the guy from Facebook that Riley found who had this thing, needed it for a job. And so we have been absolutely thrashing to try to get as much done while we have it. But
he just texted me and said that we can keep it for a few more days. So thank you so much, Patrick. That's gonna be a huge help.
we thought we were gonna be working all night and we were exhausted. It's not a good idea to work all night. So we're gonna call it quits for the day.
We're gonna go have some fun and go do some exploring that we haven't done yet. Don't hit the army truck. Oh my gosh, pay attention. Crazy driver.
I wasn't even that close. We live here. We own this.
It's been really smoky and we haven't been able to see the views, but it's finally cleared up and we can see way out there, and we've completely forgot how awesome our views are.
We're back at it for day 3 of installing our siding.
I think by the end of today, we'll have all of the walls wrapped up and be moving on to corner trim.
It's a lofty goal.
Sitting here, enjoying our morning coffee and potato chips. And apparently this yellow jacket needed my coffee more than me.
But I'd give my life for you. Nothing's changed. I just ran away from the
Dead on.
All of us makes a mistake. We work our way through the heartache. And then we're back where we started. We've gone full circle again. But that's what we do. That's just what we do. Last weekend,
Last one for the front of the building.
that was your turn, I guess. Let's pretend
Come on down.
that we are making progress. One of us makes a mistake. We work our
The board and batten that I chose is relatively expensive, so to save some money, the back of the building is not going to get it. But that means that our wall sheets are 4 feet longer than all the other sides, and we don't have a ledge to set them on to install them, so we need to screw in a ledger down here that we can set the sheets on.
So I'm drilling all of the holes in the sheets for the screws so that all the screws line up and look perfectly straight. It's also easier to drill all the sheets at once than drill them one at a time. However, my drill bit broke. So now I'm using the broken end of the drill bit. It's very stubby, but it's the last stack. We're almost done. Because now I think we can set it up here. look awesome, hun. Excellent idea.
It is time to do our last window opening cutout sheet, but it just so happens to also be the longest window cutout sheet.
These things are a pain in the butt. They just make it super hard to put the metal in.
I kind of switch back and forth of like, oh man, I wish we'd put more windows in. Right now I'm feeling like, oh man, I'm glad we didn't put more windows in.
All right, let's do it.
22.5 feet long. You ready? Oh. Get in there, you stinker! Let me put it down on the ground for a second. I'm up on the screw. There we go. Ah. Then I don't know why I can't go up.
Up. Going up. Oh, okay.
There we go. Okay.
Get it out at all. There we go.
Woo! Did we get it?
I think we've got it. So if you go back to our window layout video, you'll remember that this was the window where I said, oh my God, I completely forgot about the spacing of the ribs. And then a bunch of you in the comments were like, I don't get it, why does it matter? With a rib right against the edge of the window, if I did our normal detail, then the water that runs down in the bottom of this J channel would end up running inside this rib and then down, meaning that we wouldn't have a waterproof window. So now you can see, because I did this kind of funny notch on the end of this trim, the water still runs down, hits our little gutter, and runs out on the outside of this rib, between the rib and the window frame. But from the front, it still looks normal. I mean, it only worked because we had a little bit of space between the rib and the window. If the rib had been on the window, it wouldn't have worked. So I'm sure there are other ways to do the J channel. This is the way that we learned. This is the way that makes sense for waterproofing to me.
And it looks good. I told Riley there was a surprise if we got the two heaviest, tallest sheets in. And we got them in.
A cookie with a bite taken out of it. How lucky.
There's another one.
Some of you noticed in our roof install video that there was a piece missing. We somehow ordered 2 short, but we're able to turn that into only 1 short.
And we just got it.
Now, since we have the scissors left, we're gonna take advantage of it and get that on there. All right, last sheet. We forgot that we need to cut about 1 inch off the length of this, or off the side of this one. Luckily we remembered before we got it all the way up.
Take 2. All of our tall siding is on the building.
I think that concludes the last of the heavy lifting for a while, and I am very thankful for that.
We are so thankful that Patrick lent us his scissor lift. This would have taken so much longer without it.
We busted this out over 3 days. We still have some trim and a few little details to go, but we are getting very close to having a dried in building.
We only have the scissor lift until tomorrow evening, so tomorrow we're hoping to get our trim done, our windows caulked.
And I don't know, whatever other details we're forgetting about, because we are tired and it is time for dinner.
But first, Boone wants to go on a walk. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, whether it's on Patreon, YouTube membership, liking, subscribing, commenting. It all is such a huge help to us and what we're doing.
Thank you guys again for letting us do this.
Unleash the hound. Did it get it?
It's not in front of the lens. How do we get it to go in front of the lens?
It'll go.
There is a wasp crawling around in the lens of the camera. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
There it is. Ugh.
On a side note, the Yellow Jackets have gotten way better, and they're not a non-issue now. They leave us alone. But I don't know what to do about that wasp on the camera. Wasp stings are like...
I think it's trying to make a nest on the GoPro.
Wasp stings are like really painful, right?
I don't know. Yeah, that's what got me on the arm.
No, it's
The one that hurt really bad.
thought that was a death bug.
Oh, now it's crawling down
I'm
there.
pretty tempted to just like kick the camera and take the wasp out with it.